Everybody turn their mics on, please. Okay, I'm going to call to order the February 2025 Conservation Commission meeting at 7:03. I'm Steve Najar, the vice chair. I'm going to be chairing the commission tonight. Andy Fulton, our chairman, is unavailable. We have Mike, Sherry, Ray, and Mark here. And David is our a selectman liaison, and so we have enough members present for a quorum. Want to start off just by thanking David for his service and stepping down from the Board of Selectmen after this, and we appreciate that you've been here for so many meetings and have acted in that role, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Okay, so as our kind of custom here, we will take guest first, and I'll just start. I think Joe, if you want to introduce yourself, I think you were here and interested maybe in joining. So if you want to come on up and tell us about yourself, and then we'll move on to the next. Yeah, come on up to the mic, say who you are, and
Push the button on the speaker, please.
Push.
You want to check 'em on?
Is it on?
Is the light on?
The light's on.
All right, there you go.
Okay. I'm Joe. Yeah, I moved to Ware about 9 months ago. I grew up in Derry, grew up hunting and fishing, and, got my bachelor's in wildlife biology, master's in entomology. And so, being a Ware resident, I thought it would behoove me to come and get involved with the town. And so, yeah, just wanted to attend the meeting and listen and then possibly continue on from there. But, yeah.
yeah, cool. There's I don't know if Naomi's given you an application if you want to join as an alternate initially. And I don't know how much you know about the commission and what we do. There's some state laws that kind of drive what a conservation commission does. Much of it's advisory. Occasionally we get in weighing in on wetlands permits, that kind of thing. But we do a lot of land management. It sounds like probably right up your alley. We've got a couple thousand acres, town forest, great habitat, multi-use management.
Yeah, so I'd be definitely interested in learning more about the commission and maybe submitting an application, yeah.
Yeah, cool. There's a lot of, neat stuff and there's some mundane stuff. So.
I'm sure. You don't have to tell me, I work for the state, so.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we've got a diverse group of members too, from interested in like snowmobiling. I'm a hunter and fisherman. Mike works for DES. Andy's a geologist, works for DES. And
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah, so really, and Sherry's a kind of retired
engineer.
engineer, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I can tell you, my background is, or my specialty, I guess, is mosquito and tick biology. That's kind of my area of expertise, I say, so I don't know if that would be of any use, but certainly it ranges on beyond that. We did tons of wildlife habitat assessments and stuff at UNH,
Cool.
and yeah, just looking to kind of get back into it and be involved in whatever capacity I can be.
Did you just do a lunch and learn with Karen Craver?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I didn't.
Somebody just did a big tick presentation.
Oh, I see. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys about Lyme disease and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Everything else, anaplasmosis, and
Know that
Yeah.
firsthand.
yeah, me too. Yeah, I went to UNH for forestry though. Started T school and then the 4-year in grad. So,
Yeah. Awesome. Cool.
well, yeah, just have a seat and enjoy. Thank you for coming, and it's great if you're interested. And if you want to fill out an application, either me and Andy could sign it if you're interested.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let's see. I guess next we could. Why don't we tackle the field? Dr. Is it Anderson? Do I have that right?
Mark Anderson.
Mark. Hi, Mark. I'm Steve.
Hi. So what can I tell you?
Do you want us to tell you what we know first?
Tell me what you know and then ask questions and I'll answer them.
Yeah. So, as you may or may not know, there was some competing warrant articles last year about how the Bank Schmidt property was supposed to be managed. We have our understanding that the original intent was to develop the gravel pit after that was extracted for recreational fields, and there ended up being a warrant article from the commission, or sponsored by the commission. I don't know if we could say it's directly by the commission, but, and then one by some people interested in recreation and taking the field over for recreational use, which, our understanding is that was never the original intent. So we're kind of, at this time, we're still waiting for a legal opinion, so we're kind of stuck in sort of purgatory as far as that goes. We just haven't heard. The town changed attorneys, so we don't have clear direction. And then we also, we have had some historical discussions about the permission for the I think the initial permission for field management was granted by a prior board of selectmen, and then we'd had discussions, and it never happened, about getting, a written agreement in place. And so, yeah, I mean, we basically have been waiting for the legal opinion, so we're kind of stuck right now. So there were two warrant articles, competing
Right.
warrant articles that passed,
Yeah.
so that's kind of the problem.
And so you don't know what's going to happen yet?
No idea. And in the meantime, we had instructions to kind of research potential lease. I found and presented one here that seemed like a fair deal, and you can fill us in on the commercial viability. I don't really think there is much personally with my background, but we found something similar from Hollis, where a person was taking care of a field there, and what they ended up doing was just charging them in lieu of taxes, a payment. So, current use, however many acres that isn't very much a year, so that's how Hollis approached. It seemed like a pretty fair deal. And then I would just suggest that we may look at, potentially some language in there about, getting notified on what actually goes on in the field, what's brought in for materials and that kind of thing. But we haven't had a lengthy discussion about that. There's a lot of contaminants nowadays, and then there's invasives. So I don't know if, compost or manure could, can be heated up and kill a lot of that stuff, but I don't know what the situation is there. So yeah, I'd like to turn it over to you, and that's all we know. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can
No,
add in.
okay.
So with it being in limbo at this time, we made a decision that we're gonna hold off doing anything with that land because we're not sure what direction it's gonna go, and I can be pretty definite that there's gonna be no decision before there will be any planting. So there will be no leasing of the field this year, and there's a potential that if we do lease the field out and it does remain as it is, that we're probably gonna go out to bid for the leasing or for whatever growing season there will be. So none of that's set in stone, but that's kind of the talk that's been going on.
So if you say there's no lease this year, what happens? Do I use it, or do I ignore it, or,
The field will not be used for anything this year.
okay. I don't know how many years ago was it that this became the town property? A dozen, maybe?
2013.
Yeah, so a dozen years. When this, I came up that year because I'm not from Ware. And I said, look, I'm not from Ware. I see a day coming that somebody from Ware is gonna say, why does a new guy from New Boston have this land? And my concern was that I didn't want to find out in March, after town meeting, that it was being pulled away from me, given to somebody else if I had just dumped a bunch of money into it the previous year. I mean, in agriculture, generally, these town leases or state leases, the flood control land up in Hopkinton and Ware is a good example of that. Everything's done in a 5-year lease if there's going to be a lease agreement. And that's because when we're building up that soil, we don't do it with a 1-year look ahead. We do it with 5 years because the land requires lime and considerable amount of money. That piece of land requires an inordinate amount of babysitting. You'll notice, most of you will have noticed that there was corn planted by the cemetery this year. That corn was planted because we can't get anything to grow on that piece of land without incredible weed infestation. The weed infestation is fueled by the large number of Canadian geese that are coming in there and defecating all over the darn thing, and there's no way to hunt them. And we have sprayed weed killer in there for 2 or 3 years in a row to kill the invasive weed species that are coming into those fields, and we can't get ahead of it. So this year we turned it into corn. We'll probably plant corn again there this year in an effort to turn the soil over, get those weeds gone, and then put it back into grass. I'm giving you all that background because this invasive weed species exists on the other side of the road. And we spray that in addition to 3 times a year fertilizer application, in addition to wood ash, biosolids. We use biosolids on the private landowner's land. We haven't been putting it on the town land because we don't want, well, we stockpile it on the town land because it keeps it back away from the houses so there's no noxious odor problem. We've done that for years. And did it, when talking with Jamie then at the highway department, we were trying to put it someplace where it was easy for us to use and out of their way and keeping the neighbors happy. But there will be a problem with weed infestation in those fields if they're not taken care of. And I get a lot of gray hair. I don't have enough help. I'm still practicing. We gave up 70 acres of land 2 years ago because we couldn't handle it all because they don't have enough help. So if I lose the town land, it really is, it doesn't matter to me. It's convenient because it's near everything else I do there. But and there's an enormous problem which you folks won't be aware of. But there's an enormous problem in finding people to farm this land that will take care of it. And my fertilizer bill every year is between $25,000 and $30,000. That doesn't count a tractor payment. That doesn't count a gallon of diesel fuel. That is just the fertilizer it takes to grow the crop we want and keep the weeds out. So, and that piece of land is fragile because it's not clay, it's not loam, it's very thin topsoil over sand. And we have to fertilize it for every cutting because if we don't do that, the fertilizer we put on in April is depleted down through 20 feet of sand by the time we're ready for second crop or third crop or whatever. So it's a tough place to babysit. And we've had times, including this past year, when we put out hundreds of dollars of fertilizer over there, and the drought comes, and we don't get a crop. That's how fragile it is. I bring this up to you guys because it's a conservation committee. We have a weed called Hori alyssum over there, and we have to keep it under control because it's toxic and deadly to horses. It's unique. The first place it ever showed up in New Hampshire was over on the old Huntington property over on the Amherst Bedford town line. And since then, it has wanted to be everywhere. It infested the water precinct down there. That's one of the reasons we're growing corn down there for a couple of years, try to get this weed out of there. So I would urge you with town council to figure out a way to not ignore that land for a year, that piece of land for a year. Because even if it's, if the rec department gets it, it's gonna be ball fields next year. And, it's gonna be a weed problem. And I have to take care of it to grow crop on it. It's easy for me to ignore it. Again, I've got plenty to do. But think about that. And I'll just assume I don't have it and until you perhaps decide otherwise, okay? I guess that pretty well covers it. I mean, you must have questions now, so.
I'll open it up to anybody who has any questions.
I don't have a question, but I grew up on a farm, and I know that if you don't take care of the land, it's not going to be good. If you leave it for a year or two, it's a lot harder to bring it back.
It's a lot harder. And if you leave it, and again, I'm not, we're talking pennies on a lease here. We're not talking big money. But if you leave it for a year, I then have to go in and deal with all the stuff that's sitting on top of it, unless the town's gonna go over there and bush hog it. That's a little different, but otherwise I gotta deal with that large dead grass that's sitting there, and and the weeds that are in it, and all those weeds have gone to seed. And you know, you won't believe this, but my son can come up here and tell you about it because he's still mad about it. But we handpicked that 14-acre field one year for this Horiolism to get it out of there. We had a valuable crop of hay there, and this stuff was all through it, and we couldn't feed it to horses. And we went out there and we handpicked it over a 10-day period. And you know, so this is, it is a problem, and for that reason, it behooves you to try to figure out something other than ignoring it. And my, you know, it represents, how many acres is that? 7, maybe?
The field,
Yeah.
the field on.
So that
Our part of
represents,
the field,
that
yeah.
represents for me about 5% of my 4 to 5% of my hay acreage that we do. So again, it's not life or death to my farm or what I do. But but trust me when I tell you how fragile that piece of land is. And you know, we kidded about it. You know, Charlie Brown, you know, Charlie's just wonderful, and we have these great conversations about what it takes to keep that piece of land going. And it was great when there were 150 dairy cows up the road, because exactly what it needs is a whole lot of manure, and it needs a whole lot of water. And even, you know, even if the town puts rec fields in there, you've got to put a well in. You could put water back there, because you're not going to grow a ball field you're not going to get past the 10th of June without water on that field. So those are my points to make to you folks. Okay.
I think it would be helpful, in your time, it's definitely valuable. This is kind of essentially the wrong committee. It's you know, we manage what
Yes.
we don't. The board, you know, and it's probably more powerful for you to go to the Board of Selectmen directly than for Dave to bring it back, because they're also gonna have a change here pretty shortly with the town vote. So, you know, if you have the time to do that and you wanna speak to them about it.
I'm happy to do it. So wait till after the election and then go?
No, I would
go right
probably start
away.
Monday if you can get on the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if you're gonna get on this Monday's agenda, but,
Well, I'm not out of town till the end of March.
okay.
And so you tell me when you want me there and I'll show up.
I'll bring it up that I want to meet with them on Monday,
Yeah.
and we can pick a date to get you in.
Yep, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
The commission is, you know, I think largely supportive, and, like I said, I mean, the lease that, you know, that I found was pretty straightforward. I don't know if there isn't, you know, I've heard concerns that some people think there's a lot of commercial value in the hay there, but I understand, I understand the amount of time and money, yeah, exactly, so you don't have to tell me. I guess, you know, my only question and concern would be where are the biosolids coming from?
They come from Resource Management. I don't know, and they stockpile them. They bring in biosolids, and those are Class A biosolids. Those are the biosolids that are supposed to be safe for any application. They're mixed. The reason it's black is it's mixed with wood ash. The wood
Yeah.
ash is added to it for pH correction.
Yeah.
That's our biggest reason for loving the stuff, is that we can correct the acidity of these soils with it, and get nutrient value as well. But of course, we got gobs of manure as well. So, yeah.
I think, you know, I would suggest, if you don't have it, you know, as a commission, I think we should request,
I can give you a
certificate of
full analysis of that. yeah.
analysis to
Yeah.
make sure there's not PFAS in it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Get anything else?
Yes.
Yeah, so if they're giving you that, that's great. And
Yeah.
I just think anything that goes on the land, we ought to know about it when we do, you know,
Right.
eventually get a lease together.
Yep. And the other thing I would bring up, to go back to the Board of Selectmen, I have no problem having all of what's stockpiled there gone by May 1st. I would hate to move it twice. You know, if we can have it there and we just use the stockpile and spread out of there as soon as the snow's gone and we can get on the land. No matter what you decide on the town land. But if we can stockpile it, that would be, I mean, if we can spread it from there, not have to move it 200 yards onto raised land and spread it from there, that'd be great. We can if we have to, but I would, you know, that will cost me way more money than any lease would cost me, so,
Definite Board of Selectmen question.
yeah. Okay, anybody else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, and Ezekiel Lemay, Blake Road.
Hello, my name is Ezekiel Lemay, and I am looking for comment on some of my preliminary plans for a road and a structure off of Blake Road. Per the guidance of the building permit checklist, on item 4, it says, owner must obtain approval from selectmen after review and comment by the planning board and conservation commission. So that's what brings me here tonight.
Zeke, can you just show them what you're looking at?
This is the,
No, just show the board.
how to navigate the
Yeah,
building
can you bring
permit
that over?
process.
Can we copy that and hand it out to everybody?
I have this in an extra copy.
Yeah, I mean, we probably all might want a copy.
So it's after, on section 4.
All right, so this is,
And it's due to the reason that I had to obtain a variance from the ZBA for this particular property. So as I answer the questions down this checklist, that's the line that it brought me to.
does anyone want to see this checklist?
Yeah, but does he have the plan or what the?
Yeah, I have the maps and the plans that, I
Yeah,
have
but I
copies
mean,
of it for everyone.
Let's,
Is Blake Road a
private road?
he's got 5 copies
He brought copies, I believe.
of
Yep,
this too. We're gonna need copies for everybody of this to be able to read through it.
I have 2 copies.
We're gonna- Yeah, we're probably
Why
gonna
don't
need
you
a few
give-
more.
give
Let's
Naomi
just
to make
get
a
enough
copy.
copies there for everybody of everything.
I want to take one of each of these. This is a map and then road plan, preliminary road plan anyways. And then I also have tax maps and a survey as well, but I don't have copies of those.
Thank you.
You got one too?
I don't anymore. I had just 2 copies. Thank you.
Okay, so let's just take a second to read this, how to navigate the process for building permits.
Is this new driveway a right-of-way, or is it on your, all on your land?
It's all on the property, but there will be a deeded right-of-way for lot 113, which I own as well. So the first half of the roadway will be deeded right-of-way for that lot. And then the rest of it will be to lot 120.
So the zoning board granted a variance?
Yep, for both lots. I have those as well. I don't have copies. I have the original documents, if you want to see those.
Just more or less a private driveway for the 2 lots?
Correct, yeah. And I talked to the Public Works Director, and he guided me to the driveway specifications. And then he advised to, make a plan and build the road to those specifications, and then he would be the final inspection, as well as fire chief and other inspections.
Where's Blake Road, over by Salmon's Mill?
It's off of Concord Stage Road.
Road.
Yeah. Was that Route
77.
77? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Route 77.
Is it near Salmon Sawmill?
I'm not sure.
No, he's,
It's next to Boyce
if
Road.
you go up where Boyce Road is,
Oh,
trailer.
yeah.
He's behind the trailer.
Oh, okay, I know where you are now.
You can get to it from Blake or
Yeah.
Boyce, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lake Road
I
connects
just
from
couldn't think of
77
where, I
to
knew it was
Willis.
over on 77, I just couldn't think of exactly where it was.
All right, so you've already got a variance to build a house on a private road, you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
I've never heard of anybody having to go to the highway department and all of that stuff to get to build a driveway.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I don't deal with it. Just a lot of.
And where you're proposing this road, are you up against it on the property line?
Yes, both property lines follow it, and then it goes to the other side. The property line goes up past. I don't know if you could see it on those maps, or if one of these ones is better. Yeah, so it's even on both of these maps, trying to show where it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So this is the property line, is.
The road is the
here.
property
Yeah.
line. Oh, that's what I'm asking. Okay, so you can't really push it over anymore.
Yeah. So there is the marker pin is on this side of
Mhm.
where it's plotted out on those maps.
So, in your email, and I just want to point this out, just talking a little bit about Naomi, with Naomi, so I think this town form is wrong. RSA 674-41, I don't know if unless I'm missing something, I just don't see like, I see the planning board's involved, I'm not seeing where conservation is involved. Can you pull that up, Naomi?
Are you looking for that
So on the town.
RSA specifically? I have that printed out too if you want.
Yeah, do you see where it says conservation on there?
No, I don't. I didn't see anywhere that it said
I don't
that,
either.
but
I
it
see
just lists a
planning
lot
board.
of scenarios. So
Yeah, I just like
I was just going off of the instruction of what I found on the
agreed,
building
agreed,
permit guidance, so.
agreed. And we don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we're only an advisory committee. And, if the state law doesn't give us some specific power, then we don't have it.
This almost looks like if somebody was going after like a regular housing subdivision where we weigh in on it. But we have nothing to say about this. I don't think.
Well,
Yeah.
there's this wetland marked out there, correct?
Yeah, but
Well, we can get to that afterwards. That, we would definitely have
Some,
say in that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying specifically on 674-41, I guess that's an I, or Roman numeral 1. I'm not seeing it. You know, I was looking it up earlier. It says planning board. This has something to do with, regulation of subdivision of land, erection of buildings on streets, appeals.
they're asking for the date of the meeting and the minutes.
Right, but I just don't think we have, and we can reflect that we talked about it, but I don't think we have a role in this.
Right, and that doesn't, I think, you know how we turn around and send the plans out to everybody? Sometimes you have no comment. There is no form for him, the lot exists today.
Agreed, but I mean, what I'm saying is that,
So you may not have a comment. But he's at least made his stop here, and he shows up in the minutes.
right, what I'm saying is the town form is faulty.
Could be.
I think it is. We just don't play a role under that RSA. So if we can just note that for the minutes, whoever does the minutes, that we suspect that we don't play a role, and then we can just move on so that, talking about the layout and wetlands and stuff that we do play a role in. Good? So if you can walk us through, these are, so we've got kind of a plot plan here, we've got a wetland shown, we've got the setbacks, but we're missing the no disturb buffer. And this is 2 lots, and is that one line, the line on the east is like a driveway? Is that what we're seeing there?
Yeah. Yeah, that follows the eastern side
but the
lot line.
The lot line.
driveway
on
is
both
in the
of them.
setback in the first lot. Driveway goes right through.
So.
So, yeah,
the
my
setback's
understanding.
not on the map.
What?
25 foot,
Yeah.
oh, the setback, so there's a building setback?
Setback.
There's
No,
Yeah,
No, right
so
here.
the-
Yes.
setbacks, but the driveway goes right
Yeah.
through.
So the
Right.
road setback is
That's not a-
a
that's-
25 foot, and then the building is 50.
Yeah.
All right, so the buffer's 25, which isn't shown.
Right.
That's where the driveway couldn't go through without ZBA approval. The 50-foot relates to structures, and the 75, I believe, is the septic system. So the 25 isn't shown, but it sure does look like that, probably that nipping into it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So as you can see on the map that you're looking at there, the roadway isn't that wide on the plan that I have. So
Okay.
that plan doesn't show the wetlands, which like I said, this is preliminary, because all I needed was a comment, is what the document said. And then I'll also be doing a preliminary with the planning board to go over these plans, so then I can get my actual plans, as long as, I want my actual plans to show what's actually gonna happen. But that's obviously gonna be costly. So I wanna make sure that they include everything that's required, and I just don't go after something that's not needed. So the roadway will be, there's plenty of 25 feet, and it's actually up on top, and the wetlands it drops way down.
It almost looks like you could hug the property line pretty close and the driveway would avoid the 25-foot setback altogether.
Correct, yep.
Because already the 50-foot right-of-way doesn't go all the way across, so if you take even 10 feet off of that, your driveway will make it by there.
Yeah, the driveway is only 20 feet wide,
Yeah.
so it doesn't take that whole area that's allocated on that site plan.
Yep.
so is 403, 120 landlocked?
Technically, it would be, but because of my variances that I was granted, I'm able to come off of Blake Road up to there with this proposed driveway or private road. And if you look at the original subdivision as well as the tax map and all the town maps, there was a road provisioned there. It just was never upkept. And it was still, you could still drive on it even this past summer, probably right now if it was plowed.
So it's a driveway though, not a road?
A private road or driveway, yeah, on private land,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we play in this much, other than to suggest that, just make sure you abide by the buffer, or get a variance for that, and, be aware of all the building setbacks and effluent disposal setback and the well setback. Anyone else got anything?
Just going just by this, it looks like everything would be fine if it was designed properly.
Properly.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. How come, so I noticed there's, you got some geotextile involved with the driveway design. Is that kind of wet where the driveway's going, some kind of concern where you have to float that, or?
No, that was just what I thought would be a good driveway base plus shoulder area and runoff.
I would definitely consider that, because I did that at our place, and the soils underneath never permeate up through your gravel, it keeps it nice and firm. It's worth the money. It's a little expensive, but it's worth the
Yeah.
money.
Okay, do you have, did you want this form signed, or what, are you just gonna?
I
guess you don't even-
just want whatever comments you have to go in the minutes that I can provide with my building permits. I didn't want to file incomplete building permits. So I wanted to follow what this guidance had, which would be a comment from you that, I mean, what I'm seeking is that the proposed plan, preliminary plans that I have, if built to the specifications and the ordinances of the town, would be, you know, would meet your satisfactory.
Let me take a run at it and see if the members agree. I don't know if we need to vote on this, but what I'm seeing is, one, we're concerned that RSA 7441I may not apply, so that's one. Two, just want to encourage you to make sure you maintain all setbacks, so that would include making sure that that 20-foot driveway is to the east, far enough from the mapped wetland.
That it says this as
on-
well. It doesn't say.
That
Oh,
mapped
no
wetland
further
is
for
four,
this
is on
RS
403, 113.
Yeah,
And.
but I don't have this.
And then, on top of that, would just make sure that you abide by all building setbacks, septic setbacks, and all
Steve?
setbacks.
Just, so the form is kind of, so it says, does the lot have frontage on a road shown on a plan approved by the planning board? Yes, provide the date and the plan number. I just pulled his deed, and he has a plan number in his deed. So if he has the recording date and the plan number, he can answer yes, so then he doesn't have to do 4. Is that how you read that as well? Because it
Does
says
the lot
yes, and it
frontage
says
on a
no
road
further
shown on plan?
under RSA. If no, you have to continue to 4.
Oh, yeah.
So his deed, his book and page refers to a plan number 6372 at the registry. I can't pull it up because my phone's only this big. But if we can find the original subdivision, then he doesn't need to go through planning, conservation, or the board. That's how I read this form.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think the form's messed up anyhow. But other than that, the other things that we just, yeah, okay,
But
good,
if it's on a plan,
good.
he has it at the registry.
So we don't need to be doing any of this,
Here's
so
the plan
just
number.
abide by the setbacks.
So I need to
and we're good go.
attach that, and I don't need to do
Yeah,
number
because
4.
see, it says
Okay.
yes, provide the date, 73, the plan number, and then you don't need to do this. Sorry, I didn't mean to, I
That's
was
okay.
just trying to remember.
We're happy to get it right the first time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Naomi.
Thanks, Naomi, good job. All right, so we're all set, just abide by the setbacks.
Okay.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right,
Stay on this for a second, so and not pertaining to him, but I wonder if that's just advisory, planning board and
I do have the form.
conservation commission, maybe it's just advisory, so the board of selectmen has a good judge of what the entire situation is.
I think the way they've got that sentence written, it says per the RSA, which clearly is not.
Yeah, it's not.
The selectmen is, the balance is.
The planning board is in the RSA. The planning board's in there, we're not. So we've got to be really careful as an advisory committee.
I think the RSA is probably it doesn't say conservation anywhere. So
Yep.
the form is probably a little misleading.
So the planning board can do whatever they want. If they want to send someone here just to hear what we think about it, that's great. But you can't say that the RSA says
Correct.
you got to do it.
Yeah, we're not denying that part.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing this first time it's ever come up.
I've never seen that form.
Yeah.
Probably because of what Naomi just came up with. It's probably why we never see this
Yep.
happen.
Thank you.
All right. Do we want to roll back from the top of the agenda? Do we want to do the January 8th minutes? I'd have to pull mine up real quick and read it. Or do you want to punt?
I'm happy to review.
Let's punt.
Okay. We're doing good, that's only one behind.
Yeah. Okay, do we know what happened with the proposed zoning amendment for solar when we sent in the concerns to the planning board?
Yeah, it's not going to warrant this year.
Nice.
Yep.
There's no zoning amendments this year.
All right. No other plans? No mail items from DES?
I do. First copy. It's one, it's PSNH, but you also have, it's the project they're doing up there in the water.
They're exempt from everything.
And then this is also just your other mail. It's, the Forest Society did the, Charlie Brown's and Dale Harrington's. That's just your copy.
Oh, good. Okay, so anyone interested in, the transmission line, unnamed wetlands and water course? They got a non-site specific permit for the work that they're doing. Dredge and fill, 330,000 square feet of scrub, shrub, emergent wetlands to replace 188 existing utility structures.
Yeah, they're replacing all the poles,
Yeah,
all the way up through Daring, South Ware, Daring, all the way up through. They put those in, what, 6, 7 years ago with a helicopter, and now they're doing them all over.
Well, there's a problem with the wood. They're going all steel now,
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
all steel.
did you guys see the news last week when someone hit one of those ones down by Bedford and knocked it over?
Heard it, yeah.
$100,000 to replace it. One tower.
Amazing.
Minimum.
Does car insurance cover that?
Yeah, they would.
Should.
Okay, so those temporary impacts include 329,426 square feet for timber matting, so that's not too bad, and 700 square feet for pole installation. So, presumably they've got their own staff and they're keeping an eye on it, doing the right thing.
They're pretty strict.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Nope.
Good. Moving along,
Nothing there.
Forest Society monitoring, Dear Andrew. Which one's this one?
Charlie Brown's and you have Dale Harrington's.
Oh, yeah. So are we like, I guess we must be contingent or something? They're telling us about
They were the I think those are part of LCHIP.
it? Yeah,
It's just probably a courtesy.
yeah, no, noteworthy changes, good. Same with that one, anybody want these? No, good, okay. Forester contract was finalized, we knew that. I don't think any additional items for this meeting. Probably start rolling when the town vote happens and hopefully we'll get money. Good deal? Okay. Joe did that. Conservation computer, do we wanna go ahead and buy the updated quote? Naomi, you got that in front of you?
I don't have it in front of me, I was trying to find it. I know we went back and forth because it didn't have the right.
Yeah, and then you,
And then I had to have an external drive.
Yeah.
Right, for backup.
yeah. So was that forwarded from you to us?
Yeah, and then the software had to come separately,
Yeah, and that,
because they didn't do that.
Zuzu was working on that. That was gonna be ArcGIS Pro, which level we needed.
Right, but it's something that you'd have to get on top of the computer.
From Esri, directly, yeah. Yeah, my phone is
Is
not,
that the one you said, 110?
I believe so, yes. It was after your last meeting.
I'm not getting into my
I know, I
emails
can't even, I barely could get on the registry.
there. Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, good.
Do we have money in this year's budget?
We can use
We don't have any
conservation.
money right now. We haven't
There is no
voted on
budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just out of conservation. So Microsoft 365 apps is $830 a year. Toshiba 2 terabyte external hard drive is $80. New computer setup $420. Lenovo ThinkPad business laptop. 16 gigabyte RAM, 512 gigabyte PCI, SSD, AMD. It sounds good to me. Anyone want a motion for $1,200 to buy this thing out of conservation?
Make a motion to replace the conservation computer with a quoted price.
Out of,
Conservation.
I'll second.
okay. And then we're all set with the town purchasing policy, because this is through our IT provider, right?
Yeah, but what was your motion? Because you gotta state it a little clearly, because she doesn't understand all of you yet. The girl's
Mark.
doing it from home, so.
Make a motion that we purchase the new conservation computer as quoted
$1,198.28.
from the conservation fund.
Do you have a quote number?
Estimate number 1752 dated 11/14/2024. It expired a couple days ago, so hopefully they're still okay with it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if we're good with that, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimous. Good deal, moving on.
2 terabytes for $80.
I know, huh?
10 years ago, that would have been $800.
No, no. So now it's all on Zuzu. All right, Board of Selectmen liaison comments.
Yeah, I don't have much. I know there's a question about, the proposed budget was taken to $1 for all your line items. There was a question, what if we needed money, we can't take out of the conservation fund? So Beth did say if there's something we need, the line is still there. We didn't zero it out, so we can expend from that line. We'll just have to find it somewhere else.
Thanks, I think we're okay, because I mean, we've got the unrestricted John Champy Fund, and we've got conservation account.
There's a question Andy had, so.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Let's get that answered.
Good.
And other than that, I really have no other updates. The expectation on the hayfields sometime through the year, hopefully very soon, you're gonna hear a little bit more about it, but, as of right now, I don't have a whole lot to tell you.
Okay. And you guys get to handle the hay questions, when you get them on the agenda, so. It was good, good discussion from the perspective of the person trying to manage the field, so. Good to understand that, probably valid points. I think if we don't come to, resolution, we would probably look to, get some quotes to brush hog at once, just to try to keep it from getting at least woody veg in there this year. So in case that comes up, that would probably be the game plan.
Okay.
Soon. But it'd be really late in the year, probably like we do our other field.
Sure.
Well, you'd wanna know when that weed
Oh, because you're gonna have
matures
a,
seed,
Yeah.
and you wanna mow it before it goes to seed. Cause I know with wildflowers, you have
Yeah.
to wait until they go dormant to seed, and then you mow them.
Mow them.
And it reseeds it for next year. But if you do the same thing with this weed, you're gonna
you're
make
gonna
it worse.
make it worse,
You
yeah.
have to research how this weed operates, and you'd have to mow it before it goes to seed. We don't know when it goes to seed.
Really would be easier just to let him take care of it this year and then make a decision for the following year.
That
That
would
way
be
you
the
wouldn't-
best thing.
It would, because you wouldn't have to worry about the invasive
'Cause
weeds
even
and
if the
stuff.
field was gonna be used for ball fields, you still wanna manage this weed.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, to kind of look this thing up and understand the biology.
We could, I gotta write it down though.
It was like Horiolism, he
Yeah,
said?
I know.
Have to look
I
that
don't know
up.
how to spell it, but I'll try. I'll look it up. I'll talk to my seed guys.
It's actually kind of amazing how many non-native species, including what he's managing for is probably non-native. Cool season grasses.
Yeah, well, like he said, the geese bring it in, so they come from all over.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they found it someplace and they've eaten it,
Yep.
then when it's in seed, then they're bringing it and spreading it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. We have a big area over in Arrow, and we cleared the trees, and we just left the land alone, right? We cleared the trees, left alone in the wintertime. That whole area is filled with wild raspberries now. Where did they come from?
Bears.
They lay dormant for years.
Yeah, but they were in the middle of a forest, and now that we cleared it, it's all, the whole thing. It's awesome.
You can go in there
All
and
the
pick.
grasses and everything grew right back.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how it
Regenerated itself.
regenerated itself.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a mustard. It's a HOA H-O-A-R-Y,
Wait a minute, H-O-R,
H-O-A-R-Y, A-L-Y-S-S-U-M.
So it's a sort of mustard plant?
It's one of the mustards. Mustard family.
So it's not growing too tall then?
Yeah, about 50% of horses eating Oriolissum have following signs: swelling and fluid buildup in the lower legs, stocking up, a fever 103 or higher.
Not good.
dead horse.
So if they're grazing and they eat it accidentally, they'll get sick.
They might like it, the flavor, so they may eat, munch on it anyway. I mean, they may not be just taking a little, they may be actually eating it.
2,4-D takes care of it.
And everything else.
Yeah, it kills everything.
Except for grasses.
Yeah, but then you can't use the ground for hayfield because
Right.
chemical stays around for a while.
Yeah.
So you gotta wait a year probably.
Interesting. All right, well, at least we know what it was. That's really good to know that that's a problem there. Yeah, I think we've hit everything oh, wait a minute, no, we haven't hit everything. So, Sherry would like to, go another 3 years and has, submitted her application. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign that if everybody's do it. And we'll turn that into Naomi. Here you go, Sherry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great to keep you here.
This will be the shortest meeting we ever had.
Yeah, really.
I think you need to run off it.
Well. I don't know. All right,
Make a motion to adjourn?
awesome. Second?
Second, third, fourth.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
We're gonna conclude the meeting at 7:54.
I think that is the,
Yeah, that's.
pretty short one.
Unbelievable.
That's a record, huh?
Might be.